Stop what you're doing for a second, because there's a good chance one of these 12 items is sitting in your fridge or pantry right now, and you've been buying it for years without ever flipping it over. The difference between a genuine bargain and a genuine rip-off often comes down to 10 seconds of reading the fine print on the back. Today I'm walking you through 12 grocery staples where the front label tells one story and the ingredient list tells a completely different one. Stick around to the end, because number 7 might be the biggest shock on this list. And if this kind of breakdown is useful to you, tap subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Number 1. Original pancake syrup. That bottle, sitting in the breakfast aisle with original printed across the front, feels like a safe, familiar grab. Most shoppers toss it in the cart, assuming it's some version of maple. Flip it around though, and the first ingredient is corn syrup, followed by high fructose corn syrup, water, and caramel coloring for that amber tint. Real maple sap doesn't appear anywhere on that list. And notice the label never actually says the word maple. What you're really buying is colored sugar water engineered to look and pour like the real thing. 1 tablespoon can carry more than 12 grams of fast-absorbing sugar, which is worth thinking twice about if anyone in your household is watching their blood sugar. The taste gives it away too. Imitation syrup has a flat, cloying sweetness that coats your tongue, while real maple is lighter, thinner, and has a subtle, toasted wood finish. Here's the part that should really bother you. Genuine 100% maple syrup, one ingredient on the label, often runs cheaper at discount grocers than the imitation stuff does at big box stores. You can end up paying more for the fake version than the real one. Number 2. Frozen dairy dessert. Tubs. Those giant tubs of what looks like ice cream at a bargain price are hiding a legal loophole. If a product doesn't meet the FDA's actual dairy fat requirements, it legally cannot be labeled ice cream. So it gets called frozen dairy dessert instead. That relabeling exists because manufacturers whip extra air into the mixture to bulk up the volume, a process the industry calls overrun. The tub looks enormous but feels suspiciously light when you pick it up because a chunk of what you're scooping is literally frozen air. It's cheaper per tub mainly because it's less dense, not because you're getting a deal. Let it melt and you'll see the real tell. Real ice cream melts into a smooth, rich liquid, while this stuff turns into a gluey, foamy mess that looks more like dish soap residue, because much of the milk fat has been swapped for hydrogenated oil and corn syrup. Number 3, bagged pre-shredded cheese. Convenient, sure, but that bag of ready-to-melt shreds is dusted with cellulose, a plant fiber coating used to stop the strands from clumping together in the bag. It's FDA approved and technically harmless in small amounts, so don't panic. The real downside is what it does in the pan or oven. That anti-caking layer keeps the cheese from melting smoothly, so instead of stretching and browning nicely, it goes clumpy and stiff. Grating a block yourself takes maybe 2 extra minutes and gets you cheese that melts properly, tastes richer, and skips the powdery coating entirely. Number 4, canned chicken noodle soup. The label shows a spoon overflowing with tender chicken. Crack the can open and you usually get thin, watery broth with mushy noodles. The bigger issue is sodium. A single can pack 1,400 to 1,600 milligrams of salt, which is close to an entire day's recommended intake in one bowl. That's a real concern for anyone managing blood pressure. And the chicken itself, often under 5% of the can's total weight, frequently scraps and skin rather than actual breast meat. It'll fill your stomach in a pinch, but calling it nutritious is a stretch. A homemade pot takes more effort, but at least you control exactly what's in it. Number 5. Flavored instant oatmeal packets. Oatmeal has a genuinely healthy reputation, so the little flavored packets feel like an easy win. Just add hot water. But to make oats cook that fast, they're rolled paper thin and machine chopped, which destroys the natural fiber structure that normally slows digestion and keeps you full. The result? Your blood sugar spikes faster and you're hungry again sooner than you'd expect. Worse, a single 28-gram packet can contain 11 to 12 grams of added sugar. Nearly half the packet's weight is straight sugar. You think you're eating breakfast. You're basically eating a dessert with oat texture. Buying plain rolled or steel-cut oats and seasoning them yourself with cinnamon, honey, or fresh fruit keeps you fuller longer and cuts that sugar load dramatically. Number 6, cooking oil in clear plastic jugs. Those big, cheap jugs of canola or soybean oil look harmless sitting under bright store lighting, but that's exactly the problem. Unsaturated fats break down fast when exposed to light, and sitting under fluorescent bulbs for weeks accelerates oxidation before the bottle ever reaches your cart. That's why some fresh bottles already smell faintly off the moment you open them. The fix isn't avoiding oil altogether. It's choosing oil in dark glass or tin packaging when you can, and buying smaller quantities you'll actually use up quickly instead of a jumbo jug that sits half-used for 6 months, losing quality. Number 7, pre-cut fruit cups. Those neat little tubs of diced watermelon, pineapple, and mango in the produce aisle look irresistible when you don't feel like breaking out a knife, but they're one of the biggest markup traps in the whole store, often priced 3 to 4 times higher per ounce than buying the whole fruit. Worse, you lose every tool you'd normally use to judge freshness. You can't smell it, press it, or check it for soft spots. Some of what ends up diced and packaged started as fruit with bruised or damaged sections that got trimmed away before chopping. On top of that, cut fruit starts losing nutrients like vitamin C the moment it's sliced, and sitting under refrigerated lighting for days can strip away a significant chunk of that value. You're paying a premium for something that's already less nutritious and harder to verify. Number 8, bagged salad kits. Rip open the bag, add the dressing packet, done. It's an easy dinner shortcut, but it costs 2 to 3 times more per ounce than buying a head of lettuce and chopping it yourself. The industrial cutting process also exposes way more surface area to air, so the greens brown and go slimy noticeably faster once opened. But the part that actually matters for safety, bagged, pre-cut leafy greens have repeatedly ranked among the highest risk categories for E. coli and listeria contamination in US food safety reports, largely because greens from many different farms get mixed and washed together in bulk, meaning one contaminated batch can spread across a huge number of bags. Most bags are perfectly fine, but if you do buy them, rinse them again yourself, even if the package says pre-washed. Number 9, tubed ground beef, chubs. Those plastic-wrapped logs of ground beef with the metal clips on each end are usually cheaper per pound than the fresh meat counter, and that's exactly the trap. The airtight packaging blocks oxygen, which keeps the meat looking uniformly pink far longer than fresh meat would, tricking your eyes into reading fresh when that color actually has nothing to do with freshness. This ground beef is typically a blend of trimmings from multiple sources, and the combined fat and water content can run as high as 20 to 30% with no lean-to-fat ratio printed anywhere on the package, unlike the trays at the meat counter. You find out the truth in the pan, when the meat shrinks dramatically and releases a pool of grease and water. For recipes that need lean meat, paying slightly more at the counter, where the ratio is clearly labeled, is the smarter move. Number 10. Party size. Potato chip bags. Those oversized chip bags look like a steal, and they feel impressively full and puffy. That puffiness is mostly nitrogen gas, pumped in to cushion the chips. and it can account for nearly half the bag's actual volume. Add in shrinkflation, where the bag size stays the same, or the price even creeps up, while the net weight of chips inside quietly drops year after year, and you're paying for a lot of empty space. Once opened, the chips lose their crunch fast, so smaller households often end up tossing a third of a stale bag before finishing it. If you're not feeding a crowd, a mid-size bag you'll actually finish while it's fresh is the better value. Number 11. Store brand pure vanilla extract. Pure vanilla is pure vanilla no matter whose label is on it. The problem is entirely about price per ounce, and most shoppers never do that math. Store brand vanilla at a big box retailer can run close to $4 an ounce, while the same quality product under a warehouse club's store brand can cost closer to $1 an ounce. Roughly a fourfold difference for an identical product. Since pure vanilla extract barely degrades and actually mellows nicely over time when sealed properly, buying a larger bottle at the lower price and using it over the course of a year is an easy, obvious win if you have access to a membership warehouse. Number 12. Packaged taco seasoning mix. Grabbing a little seasoning packet for taco night feels like a no-brainer shortcut until you read the ingredient order. Cornstarch and salt usually lead the list, with a bit of sugar mixed in, while the ingredients that are actually supposed to define the flavor, chili powder, cumin, garlic, show up in small amounts near the bottom. You're mostly paying for starch and salt with a light dusting of spice, and per ounce, it's notably pricier than building your own blend. Keeping jars of chili powder, cumin, garlic powder, and onion powder on hand lets you mix a bigger batch for less money per meal, control the sodium yourself, and end up with noticeably more flavor than the pre-made packet delivers. So here's the one habit that ties all 12 of these together. Before anything goes in your cart, flip it over and read the first 3 ingredients. That's where the real story lives. The bold print on the front is marketing. The fine print on the back is the truth. If this saved you from a few bad buys, hit like so more people see it, subscribe for more breakdowns like this one, and drop a comment letting me know which of these 12 surprised you the most. See you in the next video.